And now, babe, it's time for episode 23 of the Strawberry Milk Podcast. Fashionably late as usual.
Yo,
How
yeah,
you feeling?
I'm feeling. I was gonna do a joke, right? But you kept on talking, so I couldn't. I was because
Oh, well, fuck me then. God,
no,
no, I'll just keep on talking then, I
no,
guess. I'm just going to
no,
keep just mumbling
no.
and
Okay.
going, mumbling and rapping, mumble rapping.
Mm, mm.
How you feeling? Let the people know, babe.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling sleepy. I'm feeling nervous. I'm feeling like I procrastinated a lot today,
About what?
calling for an interview.
Calling. Oh, my, yeah. You want to talk about that?
So my dream job, or one of my dream jobs, because my main dream job is nothing, right? But one
Bro,
of my
same.
one of my secondary, tertiary, whatever dream jobs is that I want to be a social worker, right? Like I would love to help families and help kids ideally, right?
Yeah,
I applied for this job back in March.
I
I
remember that.
got placed 14th on the eligibility list, and I was like, well, fuck me
Top
then.
20,
Yeah,
top
I
15.
I guess shit. And I was like, fuck man. Now there's like that's it. There it goes. That was it, and I
Hey,
can't
babe,
do it.
put it this way. You're only 13 away from one.
Amen. But so I thought I had come to terms with and accepted that, like, well, shit, looks like maybe I can't do it because I guess my degree just isn't shit. So whatever. So
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, all right, I'll just work somewhere else, right? They emailed me a couple days ago. They're like, hey, we certified your information to this person in the children and family services area of like human services.
Yeah.
Call this number for an interview. You have 10 days to respond. And I was like, oh, word? Fuck. Okay. So I was going to do it today. And then instead, I cleaned and made cookies.
I mean, a win is a
A
win.
win is a win. I mean,
Honestly.
and I
I
feel,
appreciate you for it. Those
thank you.
cookies
And
were delicious.
I couldn't do it if you weren't here.
Well, how does that work, babe?
So I figure I'll call them after work tomorrow.
All right, yeah.
But
Well, do
yeah,
you know their office hours?
8 to 5.
Are you sure? Because you looked it up. All right, cool. Because remember, that's what fucked me with
8 to 4.
my
Fuck
my
you.
first mental health appointment,
Yeah.
or I
Oh, yeah,
guess
they're eight. They're
therapy.
like what, like 7 to 3?
No, it's 8 to 4.
Fuck
No,
off.
7 to 4.
Ugh.
It's some random fucking hour. So
I was looking at my
um,
schedule trying to figure out when I could even go in for an interview, and the answer is not at all. But
you
can I
go
tell
on
you something?
Thursday.
Can I tell you something a little silly? I don't have this Thursday off. Can I tell you something a little silly?
What do you have on?
I have because this next week is our anniversary,
Yeah.
so I have the Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
What about this Monday, Labor Day?
No, I work it. Oh, I'm getting time and a half.
You have to work this Monday?
Yes.
Ah, fuck.
Well, I wouldn't be able to do my interview then anyway.
No, yeah, no, that's true. No, just schedule it for this Thursday. This coming Thursday.
I don't have the day off.
Yes, you. Oh no, you don't.
Yeah.
That's right. Fucking crap. Well, then you're fucked because that's more than 10 calendar days. Because it's 10 calendar
No.
days.
I have that many days to respond and call to set up an interview.
Oh.
And I also, that's what I was about to say, is that I'll just fucking call out for the day.
Yeah. But
because the August attendance is over. I won that bitch. I'm the last one in Starbucks who didn't call
when the
out
fuck are they
early.
opening the Starbucks? I feel like we've been
don't
talking about
know.
how it's been closed and you're
I've
hating
been
fulfillment for like 2
hearing
months now. This has been the long. Can we talk about how August is like scraped by?
August has been the most agonizingly slow month, except for when my family was here. That was
We
like boom.
like the
done.
year sped up to that, and then now it's taken its time, which I like, but I just hate the fact that this has been kind of the most like go to work and then come home, go to sleep, and then do it all again summer.
Drudgery.
We have had our highlights, and overall, I do have a positive thing about the summer, but I want to get into that later because I just realized I never talked about the fuckery that was my experience with the VA trying to get some actual fucking therapy.
And
Right?
you didn't let me finish talking about the job.
You did. You finished. We laid out the plan. What are you talking about?
Oh. But yeah, so basically one of the
I
things,
love all this dead air in
this is
between
what I
our
wanted to
points.
say. This is what I wanted to say is that I looked up the job posting, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it starts at 17 something an hour. Paltry, but
More than what you're making now.
more than I'm making now. And on my application, I said that my minimum was 20 an hour, and I'm getting an interview. So who knows? But
They're probably gonna humbly be like, "Bitch,
no, 100.
no."
100. They're like, oh yeah, Target,
Right.
Chick-fil-A, yeah, $20 an hour. But so what I'm excited for is that I reread the job posting, like the one I applied to, right?
Yeah.
And as a case aide, right there, it says this is a county certified like pathway to a human services social worker. And reading that sentence made me feel like I was going to throw up.
So you'll be. It's basically you're going the experience route.
Yep.
Because they want what, a bachelor's or a master's?
Master's.
They want. Everybody wants a fucking master's. Okay, so two. my secondary point, and then the tertiary, tertiary, whatever the fuck the word for the
Turtle
third
air.
one is. I say shit. I don't know how to. I don't know
I
how to
read
pronounce
it.
it.
I
All
don't know
right.
how to. I can spell it for you.
If the dozens of people listening at home, right,
Yeah,
haven't
dozens.
figured it out by now, I'm the stupid one.
No.
Listen. They don't come to TSMP with F and E featuring Penny P, Penelope pushing P, the only cat that knows where it's at, literally,
Push a
because she's
pee.
a fucking cat. Penny, meow for the people. Meow for the people.
She puked out what looked like a cigar. She's a little.
She coughed up a hairball. It's her second hairball ever.
You know, it was gross because there was like white stuff clinging to it. But I looked it up and it's just mucus.
Yeah, but anyway,
The important thing is that
my
she's
fiasco with
good.
the fucking VA, right? Like all during my whole like time growing up, because I come from a family that is heavy with military service, and then during my time in, I was always told that dealing with the VA was going to be a fucking nightmare. And up until this point, it hasn't proven true. But then, they have you fill out the mental health questionnaire when you go for,
Oh, no,
physical.
so
And I was like, you know what? Let me be honest, right?
not fully.
Yeah,
You
no.
can never be.
She made some
fully
eye
on.
contact with me and was like, don't answer that. I
No,
don't think,
72-hour involuntary.
But anyway,
hold.
I was like, yeah, like I feel this type of way. This affects me. This, that, and the other thing. And they're like, all right, cool. We're gonna have, a receptionist reach out to you. We're gonna hook you up with a mental health specialist, which is a therapist.
They said that would be like next week.
Yeah. Anyway, I get an appointment like a month out because that's all they have available. Which thank God I'm not actively suicidal, or else that would have been a fucking tragedy and a half. And then they're like, all right, we got you for 4:30 p.m.
Pacific Standard Time.
4:30 p.m. 16:30 for those of y'all that follow the 24-hour format. Looking at you, Dad.
Nerds.
Yeah.
Sorry. No.
But anyway, and so I'm at work, right? The day of. I cannot. It's a work policy. You can't take calls at work, even if it's in an earbud.
Valid.
However, if it's like you, my parents, or like Abby, and you guys call me, I just talk, and then that's when I talk like low key. I'm like, yo, what's up?
Yeah.
I'm at work right now. Is everything good? Right? I'm getting a call from this number, and I know it's the clinic that I go to. Here's number. I just don't have it saved, but when you know the number. And I'm like, I can't. I already responded yes on the email, and I already responded yes on the push notification that I get, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, why the fuck are they calling me? And they'll send me an email if it's important. Anyway, they're calling me. They stop. 30 minutes later, they call me again. 30 minutes later, they call me again. It keeps going. I take my 10. I call them back. They're like, yo, are you attending your appointment at 16:30, 4:30 p.m. yet again for this day? For this person.
You're
Are
like,
you this
yes,
person? I'm
bitch,
like, yes.
damn.
I was like, I also responded to the email and the text message. I'm not sure if that went through. And they're like, oh, we didn't see that. That's why we've been calling you. Thank you. We'll keep that. We'll, make sure that that's noted in your account that you have the push notifications and you respond to the email. Anyway, the time comes, right? I go to the email and I click the chat room link. I'm open there and I'm sitting and I'm waiting. I get there at 4:20.
Yeah.
Right. You got to be early in case the doctor or the therapist, I don't know if they're a doctor or not, shows up a little bit early, so that way I don't waste their time, right? The meeting time approaches. I'm like, give them a 5-10 minute grace period because they're busy. As long as they see that I'm here, we're good. 10 minutes goes by. 5 more minutes goes by. 5 more minutes goes by.
Yeah, you
25 minutes later, I was like, I'll be damned if these motherfuckers have me waiting until 30 minutes after. So I closed the link, closed it, and then I just begrudgingly played some Overwatch. And I was like, man, what kind of bullshit is this? But anyway, the next day, again, they call me. No email, no text, no nothing. They call me. After I told them, I was like, hey, I always take my lunch at this time, or I usually take my 10s around this time. So if you could note it somewhere or what have you, in case there's a different receptionist calling, to reach out to me at this time. And they said, yeah, sure. So, fast forward to the next day, having now not had that appointment, they're like calling. So I call them back at lunch. Nobody answers, right? It just rings. And now I'm like, no one's going to answer. So I stop, right? And then after work, I give them a quick call. Come to find out, right, that these motherfuckers are on lunch during my lunch period from 11 to 1.
Yep.
and they leave the office for the day at 4. That was news to me. I was like, then because they're like having that it's my fault. They're like, why did you not attend your appointment? We see that you set it up well in advance. You can't really do that. Blah 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 blah
Y'all
blah
said
blah. I was
4:30.
like, y'all said 4:30 on this day, 4:30 p.m. It's in the email, right?
Mhm.
I'm like, check the email, right? I even took a screenshot in case they could somehow edit it or what have you. No, nothing. They're like, well, I don't know why they would do that because they're out the office at 4, right?
Yeah.
So they went and they checked, and as soon as they saw that email said 4:30, the tone changed. They're like,
Yep.
oh, okay, so we'll make a note in your account. I can hear them typing, like, we'll make a note in your account. We'll go through this. We'll go through that. And are you interested in setting up something else? At this point, I said, you know what? Fuck it. I've made it this long without it, bro.
Yep.
25 years, soon to be 26 years
Mhm.
on this earth. I said, the hell with you. I didn't tell them that. They were actually pretty nice after that point. Like, they apologized for their tone and everything. I was like, all right, I can't be mad. So yeah, there's that. It's
I
my
thought that
experience working with big government.
I thought that you were gonna mention that they said that you would get a call in like a week, and they called us as we were driving
Oh
home.
yeah, that was.
So literally, these motherfuckers,
They can be punctual when they want to,
they looked at
apparently.
that shit and said, "Oh."
But anyway,
But
enough
that's
with
what
all that.
happened to me.
Enough with all that negative stuff, baby. You know
Well,
what
but
I
I
mean?
wanted
Like,
to.
it's working me up talking about it.
Well,
Fucking.
I wanted to share like kind of like my version of that,
Oh
if you
yeah.
will. So when I was like, a teen, I went to the doctor and I was like, "Hey, I've been feeling really awful. My dad, you've met my dad, like, like you've seen my mother.
He's
Like
like,
I'm
boy, have I.
yeah, no, he literally was like, "Nah, I'm your father." I'm like, "Yeah." So I was like kind of feeling a certain type of way. So he gave me this little checklist, like little paper quiz thing, and one of them was for generalized anxiety disorder, one was for major depressive disorder. And when I tell you this man's face reading the results, because I'm like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah," and he just, "Are you okay?" And
Annie, are you okay?
I was
Are
like,
you
"What?"
okay?
And he was
Are you
like,
okay,
literally,
Annie?
because I don't remember exactly what he said. I know I've told you, but I don't remember exactly what he said anymore. But like literally the tone was like, "How are you alive?" And then he was like, "And this is the part that I remember this part." He's like, "This is the part that really concerns me right here." Because the bottom is like, "Do you ever think about killing yourself or like going to sleep forever?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "This," he's like, "This I need clarification on because what," 'cause he said, "One way this goes is that you go to a psychiatric ward, and one way this goes is that we just meet up again in a week."
Damn, we could have had that grippy sock
Could have had
sex,
the
babe.
grippy socks, I
Damn.
know, but so I
I mean,
was
I have
like,
grippy socks, but it's from a trampoline park.
so he was like, I was like, "Oh," so that's when I learned that you have to clarify between active suicidal ideation
Yeah.
and passive. Like, because I had to write down, because it had to be my own handwriting, no active planning.
Yeah.
Because that is, and I thought that was funny because it was kind of similar. Like, my doctor reading that was like, "What the fuck?" And then your VA doctors were like, "Whoa."
No, they just sent me an email. Bitch, you live like this? My God.
Motherfucker said,
They
"Let
would
me."
have. They would. It couldn't because it's Gmail and it fucks it up. It wouldn't have just sent the picture. Would have sent the link. Bitch, you live like this. .jpg.
No, I just love that his response was, "Let's medicate the fuck out of this
Like, I don't want to
teenager."
actively want to kill myself.
Yeah,
But
no.
if a big U-Haul truck was barreling towards me, I'd be like, bro, I wonder if isekai is a thing. And I just wake up in some medieval fantasy.
See, for
Like, I want to be
me,
dead on a trial. Well, I want to be dead for real. I want to be dead on a trial run. If I could go to sleep and not age for like 5 years and then wake up, I feel like I'd be refreshed. Batteries recharged, ready to grab life by the balls.
see, for me, I'd like to have like a day in whatever afterlife there is, right? I feel like that'd be sick, right? Get to chit chat with my grandmother, right? I
Listen,
didn't really get to talk to her.
to quote the late, great Tupac,
Yeah.
my only fear of death is coming back to this bitch reincarnated. Let me be not a if reincarnation is a thing, let me be not a human for like a run around, right? Like I need rest.
Well,
I need to stop, bro.
I'm
The
partially convinced that I'm this fucking cat.
maybe honestly more and more stuff is convincing me because they say the past, present, and the future exists all at once
Yeah.
alongside of each other. Like we're finding evidence of that, which
Cool.
my tiny mammalian brain can't comprehend because at the end of the day, we're all just a bunch of apes, bunch
Yeah.
of monkey apes together strong, right? I'm
We're
just like hee
electrified
hee,
meat.
hoo, right? Yeah. Like everything that we are is ran by a lump of fat with salt water that has less electricity than it takes to power a really weak light bulb.
And it's wrinkly.
It's very wrinkly.
If I could, though, I would love to just take it out and rinse it under cold water
Give me a
and
soft
then put it
wash.
back.
Give me a soft wash on the old brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I want to take out like like my intestines because I feel like they're cramped. You know, I
No.
want to take them out, straighten them out, rinse them off, put them back.
Okay.
Like
All right. That's a bit too much right there.
I don't think it's too much.
Not your intestines, my love. You need those. Your
That's
giblets.
like when we're speculating about putting our brain out and
Oh my
rinsing
god,
it.
I forgot. So the further bullshit of my time in the military, I forgot who it was, but when asked, right,
Mhm.
it was something like we were dealing with our gear, right? You know, your flak, you put it on, right? And
What
looking
is a
at me
flag?
because it's a flak, it's your plate carrier,
That's the arm. It's armor.
it's your armor.
Okay.
Yes, it's a ceramic armor plate. You put it into your plate carrier. It's a flak,
I
right?
catch a lot of flack means
No, okay, listen. So anyway,
sorry.
looking at me,
Yeah.
I am not a big man. I
Anyway.
am 5'9", right?
Mhm.
I'm a wide, like broad shouldered. That's it, right? So looking at me, everyone's like, okay, medium flak. But whenever I got tested for it, it doesn't cover because it's supposed to cover everything,
Like down
like
under
your
your tum.
tummy,
Yeah.
yeah, right. Like not like right down to your hips, but it's supposed to cover the important parts, right? And they're like, because like dudes, like a lot of dudes in the military are just short, right? Like the really tall, big ones, they're usually like machine gunners or they're in like some other like position, right? But your average Joe dude very much has little man syndrome.
Yeah.
And I can't remember exactly who it was, but it was a smaller guy. He's like, "Why the fuck do you have a large flak?" Oh, blah blah blah. He looked like a dude that says, "Oh, I'm 6 foot on Tinder," and I was like, "Bro, I gotta protect all my giblets." He's like, "What the fuck is that?" Like,
Imagine getting
just like
pressed
white
over
boy
that.
confused. I was like, "Dog, I'm sorry you're built like a toothpick and you're weak as fuck in the
Yeah,
gym."
fuck
But
my
like
bad. That's the same
some
person
of
that
us
buy
have a
Magnum
some
size condoms.
some of us have like a wide torso. We're just not very tall. Like I'm built like a square. You know what I mean? Like a sack of potatoes, barrel chested, if you will.
Barrel
Like those
chested.
barrels that they were riding in The Hobbit. I've been talking about The Hobbit a
No.
lot more. But anyway, enough of this negative stuff, right? Let's come with the vibes. Let's give the people what they came here for. Give them a shout out, right? It's towards the middle of the episode. If you guys have, well, not the middle. If you guys have made it this far, right, trying to do little check-ins for retention. But again, we know we're fashionably late all the time.
Cope.
We, we don't do this full time. We are the partiest of part times. We got full-time work and full-time life
Yeah.
outside of this. Like we said, August and the summer has been kind of, moseying on by, and there's been something almost every week this summer, which is, I
Literally.
think, like literally all this exhaustion is coming up for me. And this Memorial Day weekend, I'm about to just
Yeah, I'm entering
chill.
burnout.
I'm about
Like
to chill the fuck out. But anyway, thank you guys for still, coming in. We know that a good portion of this is our friends and family, but then recently we've been getting more followers, more subscribers. We've been getting a few more reviews on the podcast. By the way, drop that 5-star stunner rating,
5
baby.
stars. If it's anything
5
less,
stars, no. Listen. Constructive criticism is
I
good
can't
criticism.
handle
But if you're just,
criticism.
I can understand hating. Keep it to your fucking self. Keep it pushing.
Keep it to
Um,
yourself.
but our most recent video, the one we're talking about the Hunger Games, 185
The
views on
people want to
YouTube.
hear my views about the Hunger Games.
They do.
The
Honestly,
people
I think we're
yearn.
starting to get the formula down for that though. We're having more refined, like actually not just going over the movie and giving someone thought. We had an actual discussion
I
about
was
that.
rambling.
No, very coherent if you would listen to our episodes, my
I
love.
only listen to them when I miss you and I want to hear your voice. I don't focus on me.
You're too sweet to tease. Oh my. But anyway, thank you guys for listening very much. And, welcome to all the new subscribers, to all the new followers. We hope that, you find us worth sticking around for, right? Because you got all these options floating around on the internet. You might as well listen to us because why not? But anyway, just because we're the best podcast in the 805, and that's a true proven fact. I got the email sitting on my computer, but you guys can't see it.
I have the YouTube milestone plaque.
And it says best podcast in the 805.
Yeah, it does.
Hashtag 805,
Yeah,
if you will.
it's signed by Mr. Tube himself.
And as you
so-
know, with the best podcast in the 805, I want to talk about the hard-hitting subjects,
Oh,
the
God.
hard-hitting topics plaguing our society, or just plaguing me. Because one of the curses of ADHD is that you think about a lot of shit a lot of the time. And I
Yeah.
finally had an original thought.
Oh.
Why the fuck are snake tanks so small?
Yes.
Why do they keep, like, when you go to like a
Yes, because
reptile?
they don't let them out.
And like, so there's this guy that I follow on TikTok, right? Trap House Nature. He also does like Trap House Fishing, Trap House Sports, stuff like that. Just commentary
the one
over
with
a
the
bunch of stuff.
voices?
Yeah. He's like, look at the glick,
Yeah.
look at the glick, bro. Little perk 30 tank, and it's the glowfish. You can get at Petco. There's like Reptile Con and shit like that, where it's just like all these exotic pet tradings and stuff. why the fuck? Like, I can understand the baby snakes when you're selling them, you put them in a little thing, and then, like, there's actual science about how much the space an animal actually needs to thrive and be healthy in personal captivity, right?
Yeah.
Like quail, for example. And I know quails aren't related to snakes except for the fact that your snake could eat a quail, right? But this is the only other fact that I know about keeping quail.
Mhm.
Each quail technically only needs about like a square foot to 2 square feet of space, right?
Mhm.
Because, just for the coop, right? Like you can have them indoors if you have a room set up for them,
Yeah.
or you can have them outdoors if you have a backyard and, you don't mind shepherding them so the hawks don't come and take them one by one, right? They only need 2 square feet of space for like a whole coop.
Wow.
Because, well, they're small and when they're resting, right? But like seeing that, hearing that, I'm like, I know that's right. I know there's like people with PhDs that are behind
I'd
this.
give them more room.
Yeah, why is that so small, bro?
I'd give them more
You
space.
know what I mean? Like, I would give them like a bigger chicken coop. Like the cage we have for the birds, the breeder cage, right? That would be enough for me to have about 6 quail in when they
Damn.
sleep. When they sleep. Like each sets up their little thing.
I
Because
like
I
how
do want
quails say
quail
Chicago.
eventually. Huh?
I like how they say Chicago. When we used to go to the lake house, right? There were always quail. Because mom, we go outside in the morning, right?
Yeah.
And mom would be like, listen, listen. You just hear, and I'm
Oh
like,
yeah. But like, why the fuck are these tanks so small? Like, I look at these snakes, right? And when you pick them up, they're like just sitting in your hand. You just want to boop their
they're
little
so
snake noses,
cute. I
right?
love
Some of them have
snakes.
really cool designs, man. But I could never, I don't understand the people that get into venomous snake collecting. Like, the
Yeah.
most dangerous thing I'd get would be pythons, which everybody gets a
I
python, right?
love little
But when they're
pythons.
fully grown, you'll see somebody, they're like, yeah, look at this 15-foot snake. And it can't even like fully
It
like
can't
stretch itself
stretch.
out, which I guess the snakes don't do, right? Because when you're that long, it's basically just a big ass neck, right? It's all one thing of muscle. When you're super stretched out, it takes longer to get into a defensive position, and there's more of you like open to getting
But they should
attacked by
get
like
the
an eagle or something.
option.
No, I know, but like looking at it, I'm just like, that can't be fucking cool. Like, imagine if you were only confined to a space to where you can't sprawl out, you can only like sit with your like feet kind of propped up,
Yeah, it's terrible.
like the closest you can get to fully stretch out. And like, I know the snake's happy, except for those really shitty owners of snake, but fuck at shitty animal owners in general, right? Um, like I can't imagine like neglecting Penny. Well,
I can't either.
I've never imagined neglecting any of my animals, right? But like looking at Penny, like I know you're a cat, but you're my dog. I
You're
could
my
never do
dog.
wrong by you, man. Sorry, she's awake now and she's sniffing around. She's gonna start
Well, she
meowing for
heard us
food in a
talking
second.
about her other
But anyway,
animals.
but like you look at these poor little bastards, and they're in like a little like glass tank, or when people don't put enough substrate, or
And
like,
it's
oh this,
short
or they're
too.
like, oh, this species needs only this because they're getting into they're getting designer bred like any domesticated animal does,
Yeah.
right? And so they're like, oh, their skin's extra sensitive. Like, dog, just put it outside at this point.
Yeah.
Like, buckle down and just like make it an actual enclosure. They look so sad sitting there, man.
They do.
And like they look at you with their little eyes and they flick their tongue out and they're like, "What's up, man? You got a little mouse for me?" And I'm like, "Bro, I wish I had space for you."
That's why I love that one scene in the beginning of Harry Potter.
What do you mean?
He let that bitch go.
Wait,
The
which?
snake was like, "Hey, I want to go back home to Brazil. I've never been there. Love to check it out." Harry's like, "Say less." Boom. Cage is gone. Snake slithers away. He's like, "Thank you, man."
How the fuck is that snake gonna get to Brazil?
Not important. The point is that he gave him the option.
Gets to Brazil and they're like, some guys are on the trails like, "Man, I haven't had snake jerky in a while." And the snake comes up trying to speak to them. It's like, "You guys know how to get to the rainforest?" And they're like, "Oh." I don't. They speak Portuguese there, so I don't know what like a Brazilian name would be, but I'm gonna give him a normal.
Raul.
Emmanuel, look at that. We're gonna eat
Powell.
that fucker.
No, Paulo.
Okay, that's just racist. But anyway, moving on to a more somber topic. I know that we
Heavy
said we're
vowels.
gonna talk about nothing but the hits and the vibes. It's kind of old news as far as the internet goes, but guys, my wishes came true. Lil Tay is still alive.
Oh my god.
No, I've been thinking about because I don't like to mix the podcast with the movie review or the movie review with the podcast. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But hey, they're alive. Their account got hacked. That's what they were saying. Apparently, Lil Tay and their brother. I'm trying to say them. I don't know any pronouns that they go by, so they is always a safe bet.
Ally.
And their brother, they're still alive.
Yeah.
So boom, there you go.
City girls
It's
stay up.
internet celebrity that never met, never gonna meet, but at the end of the day, it was still a 14-year-old and their brother that potentially was dead. They're
Yeah.
here and they get to ride this fucking ship down with the rest of us because the world's on fire.
I saw one person
Stuff is flooding.
that was like, "This is the worst." They're like, "This is the worst publicity stunt I've ever seen," and it's like, no, I think that'd be a really good one actually.
I mean, the worst publicity stunt I've ever seen is Doja Cat getting mad because she messaged a minor trying to get some person's from Stranger Things number that she wanted to fuck. And then the kid was like, they have an Instagram, go ask them. And then posted it online and she tried to sick her fans. What do they call themselves? Kittens?
We've been over this so many
No, we
times.
haven't talked about it on here,
Yeah, we
actually.
have.
No, we haven't. No. Like the finer parts of it. Like, I think
But
it's
you
just
talk about it all the time.
no, but yeah, to you. No, but then afterwards she like went all Britney Spears and shaved her head and is now turning on her fans
Yeah,
and
she's
that's the
calling
worst.
them weird,
That's the
and
worst
she's like,
publicity
"Oh, you
stunt
like
I've ever
that? You like
seen.
that stupid pop cheesy shit I did?" And then she released an album that was identical to the cheesy poppy shit.
I miss rapping Doja Cat.
I love seeing the downfall of people.
I do.
I love it.
Hey, the music still slaps
Let it
though.
burn, bitch.
Give up fuck what they said. I'd rather just paint the town red. I don't know the words to the song, so I fucked it up.
Yeah, because it's
Hey,
forgettable. Just like
hey,
her.
hey. I don't know.
Oh,
My favorite one is Bitch, I'm a cow. Bitch, I'm a cow. I'm
I'm
not
not
a
a
cat.
cat.
I
I
don't
don't
say
say
meow. I
meow.
go moo. And then she named herself Doja Cat. She made
Moo.
some funny TikToks though.
Yeah.
But speaking about burning in a blaze of glory, something on the complete opposite spectrum of that.
Oh,
Can we talk about how BlackRock and other nameless billionaires that are probably just puppets of BlackRock are trying to buy up the property in Maui now that it's at a quote unquote discounted rate?
no, because I don't want to talk about it.
These people just went through the most traumatic experience of their lives. People were literally fleeing into the
They
ocean,
found the
lost their
corpse.
land.
This one family found the corpse of their 14-year-old adoptive son holding their dog.
I would become a fucking supervillain.
There's
I
109 children who are still missing.
And you know what is even more fucked up? This really old white dude, right?
Mhm.
This really, really old white dude. Like I think he's like 80s, like
Mm.
in his 80s, was saying that all those cars that are on like the highway by the coast, right? They were told to stay there even as the fire. Like there was police
Yeah, police was
officers like
telling them to
blocking
stay.
them out. Like that's terrible.
Ugh.
You have the utility companies that don't properly maintain their lines because they're like, we'll just continue collecting the money and then go pay off to go buy up more ancestral land because, well, they're cartoonishly fucking evil.
Literally,
And then
literally.
their power lines start a fire that only spreads so quickly because of all that dry ass non-native grass that colonizers have planted there. Do you guys realize that we overthrew an entire well, that's what America does, but in this case, we overthrew an entire way of life simply because a bunch of banana farmers and sugar farmers got tired of paying
Yep.
taxes.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
That's why America owns Hawaii.
Mass
Dole,
genocide.
Chiquita, what the hell is the sugar thing? CNH? CNH.
Yeah.
CNH, we're like, we're tired of paying, import and export taxes. America, do something. And the government came in and said, pow.
Yep.
And now they're a state. And now we are just fucking them. No lube
No, babe, it's
over
okay.
sharp volcanic rocks,
No, babe.
destroying their nature, destroying their way of life, simply so we could get stuff at a discounted rate. And that's so, a bunch of fucking sorority girls can go and take 3 pictures and post them over the span of 2 months so you think that they're still on vacation.
But babe.
What's up?
The president at some point issued an official apology.
Who did?
Not any of the recent ones.
No.
Yeah, one president issued an official apology.
Speaking of
And was like, that's all better, right?
no,
We're
Jesus.
good? Like, we're good? I apologize. No, I'm not giving you your land
But
back.
it's terrible. I do like that they're all standing in solidarity. Like no one's buying this shit. Some guy evicted people's apartments that were spared from the blaze because like all the other land that he owned, right, was fucked. And I guess this apartment complex, because people were still living in it, he wasn't gonna get like a certain amount of money or some shit. And so he's like, you have 30 days to get the fuck
What
out
a
of here because I'm
joke.
just selling to recoup all my losses. That's fucking terrible, dude. Like, and speaking of terrible politics, can Mitch McConnell just die? 2 strokes in a month, motherfucker. Get out of here. You're in the right lane with your left blinker on. The lane is open for death. Go. We don't want you here. I don't want you here. This motherfucker's been alive and has held a position of power roughly before I was considered a full person. before
Yeah.
our marriage would have been legal.
I saw a TikTok that said that he was looking at the Grim Reaper.
Tapping his watch. That's what he's doing. But all right, less negativity, more vibes. What do you got, babe? Let's hear a talking point. Please.
I was gonna
No,
just.
I'm trying to stop with all the dead air. What do we got? What do we got?
What do we got? What do we got? What do we got?
You said you had talking points. I feel like I've been dominating the show.
You
Like
have, but I enjoy going with the flow.
there is no flow, my love.
I have a PS5.
Oh my god, we
I have
forgot
a
that.
PS5.
Hey.
I'm poor now.
I mean,
Poorer.
we were poor before.
Aggressively more
Oh
poor.
fuck, I gotta pay rent today, man.
$546 poorer because tax.
A lot
Fuck
of
you.
a lot of tax, man.
Damn, I didn't know that the government also was buying my PS5. That's crazy.
Everyone said a 10% sales tax, not that bad, and then you pay
9.25.
9.2, but that's almost $50 in tax
Yeah.
that you paid.
I did. It was $56.
But
in
hey,
tax.
doesn't that thing look good right there? Now we're matching.
We have
man.
little twinsies.
We
Yeah,
got, we
that's
got
nice.
bunny ears, but they're
Fellas,
PS5s. You
my
can finally load in.
games- Yeah, will you let me say what I need to say?
Talk faster.
Gonna commit an act of violence. My games load. When I want to look at my operator in Call of Duty Black Ops, right? Cold War, I just hit the button and it goes. Everything loads in. I'm able to load into the games on time. There's no more polygons. There's no more completely black sky because that was happening a lot when I'd load into games, babe.
A black sky?
Yeah, the sky wouldn't load in, so it was just like the dark gray. You know what I mean? Yeah, like workshop engine levels. I wouldn't have a gun in my hand. I would just be.
We'd start a game of infected. We'd be like 5 people getting infected in, and then the game would spawn her in as a zombie.
Yeah, it was great. I'm like, this is fucking fantastic. Thanks. But now I'm loading in. Minecraft, even though it's a PS4 version, loads in even quicker as well, which is lovely. I need to figure out if I can upgrade my PS4 Skyrim to PS5 Skyrim.
No, don't do that.
Well, I want to see if they'll let me do it with the disc. You know what I mean?
No.
They won't let me do it?
It's not going to let you do that with the disc, I'm pretty sure. But also just don't do that because you have PS4 Skyrim.
But imagine how good it would look.
It's not going to look any better. You putting the disc into your PS5 is already going to have the frames be locked at a higher rate. And it's just going to look slightly better.
That is true, yeah.
You can't polish shit because that's what Skyrim is, babe. It's not good. It's not good at all. But hey, I'm also feeling that with Horizon 2. I just think it was too late because I didn't play the DLC for the first one, even though I meant to. And then, the same thing, I meant to play this game. But I just, like Akil was saying, I probably have just adventure game fatigue because I did just finish God of War Ragnarok, and that is an amazing game.
And you really sped through that too.
No, I didn't. I took my time. The main story is like 30 hours.
But I meant like you didn't.
No, because I got like 40 something, almost 50 hours in that game. I did the side quest that I wanted to because, so my beef, right? And why I also feel like I'm kind of burnt out with Horizon 2, even though I'm only like 2 hours into it, is it was at a time where Horizon was always supposed to be an open world game. And, the first one is. It's really good. And then, this is when God of War came out, right? The reboot of the series, right? And I was like, open world, because God of War was always open level, kind of. But not open world. And I really liked 2018's God of War because it was open world. But then I was like, fuck, everything's just going to go bigger, better, badder, open world, right?
Yeah.
Red Dead 2, obviously, classic, right? The first Horizon game, classic. God of War and God of War Ragnarok, classic. But then look at how Halo Infinite fumbled it. And we've talked about that before. With God of War Ragnarok, it kind of fell into some of those tropes that I hate to see with open world games, is that you get to the middle and you have this surplus of quests, which is any RPG, any type of open world, any quest-giving game.
As fuck.
When you get to the middle of the game, you can kind of always tell because you'll get an influx of side quests. You have a lot of shit left over from the first act because, you can't really space when the first and the second act, if it's a 3-act game, would like kind of morph into one. And so I was like, cool, let me do this upgrade. And the rest of the game was kind of a breeze. Given the fact that I was kind of over leveled to where I was considering upping the difficulty.
Yeah.
But then you get to what is truly the last act of the game. You're like probably an hour or two away from the ending if you just do the main quests.
Yeah.
And immediately more shit kept popping up. Stuff that I would expect from Act 2 of a game. New regions, new mechanics within those regions, new side quests with the spirits that are stranded throughout these biomes, right?
Yeah.
More little stuff that you can do. It felt like every other quest or side quest, I was getting something that like I had to go back through all the realms and do again. Like Nidhogg's children, right?
Yeah.
and then finding all the fucking stags, and then doing something else with the spirits, and then killing all these berserker spirits, and then afterwards the main game, the really true final boss is the new Valkyrie. I was just like, you know what? I didn't deal with this shit in the first game, right? Because I got to the Valkyrie Queen in the first rebooted God of War, and I was like, you know what? I want to play Red Dead now, and then so I started playing Red Dead. Because I'd like put it off when it came out. But God of War Ragnarok, honestly, it was a really nice game. I can't give it a 10 like I did Ghost of Tsushima
Oh.
because that really just burned me out at the end. Like I was like, I do like doing all the side quests up until, the end of the game. That way I can just do the end game shit. But I was like, nah, fuck that, right?
Yeah.
Like I didn't even want to go do the Muspelheim trials like I did in the first one. And so honestly, it's a solid 8 for me. But
Yeah.
that's only because they kind of just pad out the game. And I never thought I'd see that with a God of War game.
Well,
Because I,
it's
I I played the third one first, right? And then 1 and 2, I went back and I just didn't like it because they do play a little bit different than the third one,
yeah.
right? And this one I was still younger, so I was still kind of just playing games to play them. But I played the third one 3 times back to back on progressively harder
Wow.
difficulties. I did the new game plus, and then I passed it for the final time on the hardest difficulty.
Oh,
Um,
I wish that Hogwarts
yeah,
had New
ooh,
Game Plus. I downloaded it on my PS5, right? And I was excited. I was gonna go back into my character, you know, eat it up,
I'm telling you, you're gonna
having
eat up in
fun.
Baldur's Gate when we get it, babe.
I replaying it, starting over is humbling and
It's
exhausting,
tedious.
and tedious is a good word. It is just I I can't do it. The game
You
has
know,
no real replayability. I wanted to stick through it so I could
this
do
is what I was saying. You were calling
each.
me a hater.
I was because I needed to experience it for myself.
You know what's funny? Hogwarts, I think, is a great example of why New Game Plus exists, right?
Yes.
Because there's some people that's like, well, what's the appeal? And for a while, I found myself asking that too, like, what's the appeal, right? Like
Yeah.
with God of War 3, for example, right? Just because we're fresh and I do want to give like some of an actual review on it before we move on to the next topic. God of War 3, the New Game Plus ability, it's just, you have all the weapons,
Yeah.
you have your like upgraded abilities, and you get to play as Fear Kratos because there's a part in the game where you're in like a dreamlike state and it's an all black Kratos, but his
Ooh.
tattoo's glowing red.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah, and you get to play through the game like that. And so I played on normal the first one, then it was like medium, and then like hard. Back when it was just easy, normal, medium, hard.
Yeah.
Um, I played on that, and that was cool. But I was still like, what's the point? Although it just was cool. Like this is when I was starting to get into that challenge where I realized I liked that more difficult aspect of the game. I don't want it to be punishing, like apparently the new Armored Core is like Dark Souls on crack. But I do like a good set of challenge to prove that, hey, I'm better than this code. You know what I
I
mean?
like easy
Um,
games. I play on story mode.
but as usual, um, I think that since God of War the series has matured, so has the message that you get from the game, right? And as always, it's always been about letting go, being better than who are. Like the whole series is like that. You know what I mean? Like, seek the path of vengeance. You dig 2 graves and yada yada yada. Revenge
Yeah.
is a dish best served cold. Blah blah blah. Moving on from the mistakes of your past. But what I liked about this one is that it focuses mainly on grief and the inability to let go, not just from your mistakes, but from just the past in general.
I like that.
You see that with Kratos as he has let go, but he still keeps on to some of his paranoia. He still keeps on to some of those, like, he's still holding on to, what made him the God of War in the original series, if you will.
Yeah.
And he can see now the flaws of his parenting with Atreus, right?
Yeah.
And
Atreus.
then you have, Freya's inability to kind of let go of the pain Kratos caused her from the loss of her son, which she kind of does, but it's still hinted at throughout
She
the
was
game.
so dramatic.
But then also the pain that Odin has caused her. Then you have Thor who can't let go of, just feeling like a sack of shit because Odin has caused him a lot of grief.
He tried.
Like yada yada yada. Like the game is really good. It taught me more stuff about my grief, especially with Sindri and Brock,
Yeah.
right? And then especially for the scenes between Kratos and Faye, his wife, right?
Yeah.
And of course, his wife's a fucking orange haired ginger. I'm like,
Woo!
damn, they're really coming for your boy's heartstrings. But and we've mentioned it on this podcast before. I keep saying we're getting off the negative vibes. We're all gonna die one day. It's a natural part. It's
Ugh.
a natural part of life. But I like seeing and being able to think about that in new ways through different types of media, like whether it's through music, whether it's through television, whether it's through video games, or just talking to people
Yeah.
in general. Like I said, one of the perks about thinking about everything all the time is that you can just go back and rethink about it, and you find like a new pathway, or you find a new point of view about what's going on, and change your opinion, change your point of view on what you thought. And I truly got that from this game. And that's why it kind of pains me to not view it as perfect. But listen, annoying things in the game are still going to piss me off here. All
Yeah.
the emotional revelations it's having me have aside, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's still a great game. I still enjoyed playing it. I am glad I took my time to wait as long as I did, even though a lot of the stuff was spoiled for me, but it was still a fantastic game, and I'm looking to see how they further explore this part of the series in the third one. I want to see how Atreus deals with it, because in the first one, he's very angry. He's a young child that has a very stoic father that he
He's a
doesn't know
baby.
and who just lost his mother. And then now in this one, he's kind of matured. You know, you grow up fast. Like, yeah, he's only like 14, but this is back then. You know what I mean? He was basically a grown ass man back then.
He apparently is just
Would
gonna
have
climb mountains
yeah,
all by
would have
himself.
probably already went to war, but like, you know what I mean? I'd like to explore how his grief matures and manifests into his character into the third entry, which is gonna happen,
Yeah.
and I'm completely, very much looking forward to that. But, my love, I have a question for you.
I gotta go put the meatloaf in.
No, we're doing that afterwards. That's not important right now, but I have a question for you.
Okay.
When was the first time you used a dishwasher? Or is it safe to say you've always had a
I've always had a
dishwasher?
dishwasher.
Now,
Living
see,
living
me,
with you has been the first time I haven't had a dishwasher.
God, just make me feel like shit already. Why don't you? But
What? How?
me at my big age, I've never used a dishwasher.
What?
It hasn't, like, again, like I was thinking about that, right? And because remember you're like, I thought all fridges had water on the door. I'm like,
Yeah, I thought they all had water in an ice
not
machine.
poor people. I've never had
It's the
water.
bare minimum.
I've never had water
Ugh,
on the door of a fridge that
it's
was
nice.
at my house. It was always at a family member's house,
No, the
which
fancy
further,
fridges are
which
like
like
the ones at
furthers,
mom's that you open the door and it still pours water.
yeah,
Oh, those are ooh.
I want their fridge. It's so
I
dope.
that filter light is always on.
But like I never used a dishwasher at 25 years of life, because we've had dishwashers, but we never used them. At Dad's
Why
house,
would you not use
I
them?
think you were there for it. I was like, Dad, am I tripping, or did we have a dishwasher way back in the day? He's like, yeah, but that bitch was always broken, so they like got rid of it, and it was just more cabinet space. And then with Mom, we never had a dishwasher. When we lived with some people a few times, they had it, so I never used it, right? And then at our place in Bakersfield, before I joined the military, we had a dishwasher.
Yeah.
It never worked, and then it got fixed, quote unquote. Used it one time and it flooded, right? Like not like severe, but like you could see the water and the soap coming out the bottom of it. So we didn't do it. There was so much of a gap from the bottom of it to the floor that we had kittens one time, and they would hide under there and
Babe,
chill out.
I have
They
a
made it
dishwasher story.
they made it into its own thing. And so like I've never used a dishwasher. And now this is pissing me off because I'm probably going to be well into my 30s before we get to a place that has one. Like I just want the finer things in life, damn it. I want an ice machine and I want a dishwasher. Is that so much? I want a fucking fridge with two doors that open and the freezer on the bottom.
Yeah, those
That's
are
it.
nice.
That's not too much to ask, is it?
I mean, those are expensive. But my dishwasher story, right?
Oh,
So we were kids, right? So this is I don't remember the exact age range,
yeah.
but it was Mar and I,
Is it your
right?
famous age range of like 0 to 75,000?
I know. Listen, when you
You're
have
like, I was between 10 and 19. Like,
when
damn,
you're
that
being
could.
consistent when you're consistently in fight or flight your entire childhood, you don't know what year it is. You know? I looked it up. That's the thing. I can blame my faulty memory on other stuff. But here's the fun part, right?
All right.
It was Mar and I home alone.
All right.
Well, maybe we weren't even home alone. Again, faulty. So we were home and we were gonna load the dishwasher. So we loaded the dishwasher, and I guess that she put like just she put like I think like liquid like dish soap
Yeah.
instead of the dishwashing.
It's very cons, very
Well, no,
sudsy.
because we have Dad's preferred thing is dishwashing gel,
Yeah.
right? So you put it in the little holder,
So
you
she
close
grabbed
it.
the wrong bottle.
She grabbed the dish soap,
Oof.
and so there was just soap just pouring down the sides, pulling underneath. Oh my goodness. Like, I don't even remember if this was a story that Air Bear told me that I'm remembering or like whatever. But I know what happened. There was a dishwasher incident. And also I wanted to apologize because
What did you do?
No, for years. For years. My family perpetuated the theory that the reason why our like because we had a family rabbit, we all got it from my mom for Mother's Day one year, right?
Yeah.
Her name was Snugger Sweeters. I don't want to hear any criticism. So
Snugger
she
Sweeters?
was wonderful.
All right.
So she she died, right? Because she was a rabbit. Dad said it was a coyote or an owl or something came up and just fucking ate her, right?
I'm trying to think of like the most like pet name I've ever. I think it was our hamster. I think because his name was Frosty. I think that's like the only like pettiest name I've ever had. Because usually they're just named actual
Yeah.
names like Penny, Sasha, Cleo, Red, which is a color, but it's also a person
That's
name.
a dog name.
I had a fish named Goliath. I never really named other fish. It was just I just named because it was a pleco and it was really big. Jason and Yesenia are birds. We had what Mac, Diamond. Yeah, like what? Like Mac had a full name. His name was Sir Maccabee the Third.
I had my tortoise, but
A
but
Seymour Team Home Fry.
so what my Seymour the homie. So what my dad told all of us
Yeah.
was that Mar had left the gate open to the backyard when she was taking down the trash cans,
Mhm.
and the rabbit got out. They told me she ran away. They told them that
she
got
ran away,
fucking
all
ran
right.
over, right?
Oh, she ran away, all right.
So, and this was
Straight to heaven.
I think this was her wedding. And God bless her, because she's been dealing with everyone thinking that this
The wedding we went to?
Yeah.
She told you this then?
No, because we were talking about it, and I was like, wasn't there? She's like, no, I did not leave the fucking gate open. She's like, I know that's what they said. I did not. She just fucking got eaten. And I was like, Dad? He's like, oh yeah, they ate that bitch. I was like, you told me.
Wait, they...
Like coyotes came down.
Oh,
and
okay.
ate
I
the
thought
rabbit,
like your
'cause we used to,
father
like-
ate. He's like, who wants rabbit?
No,
I
no.
could totally see him doing that.
Oh, he would. But so no.
He'd probably fuck it up. But...
No. But so literally,
I don't know how you
and
put...
he was just like, oh yeah, no, it just got eaten. And I was like, you told me that Mara left the gate open by accident and she ran away. And he was like, did I? And I was like, homie, this is years. Like this is
years and years.
Like I had to go through
know?
school with no pet and having all of my classmates and all of these assignments at school where it's like, oh, like what, like talk about your pet, right?
Yeah.
Like what's your pet's name? Draw your pet. And I'd always have to be like, oh, I don't have any pets. You've never had a pet? My teachers would get so mad at me like it was my fault.
Yeah.
Like they'd be like, what do you mean you don't have a pet? And I'm like, we don't have any pets.
Oh
My mom
my
says that she doesn't
God.
want another kid. I was like, I had a rabbit that died.
That unlocks so much for me. Because I don't want to cut off your story.
Okay, so because it was always so frustrating, right? Because and thank you, Madeline. I'm sorry. So it was always so frustrating because like it was literally because they act like it's your fault.
Yeah.
And like you're fucking crazy. I'm like, I'm 7. I can't really have a say in family
Bro,
decisions.
can we talk about that? Why do all the teachers turn into complete bitches now that we're out of school? Like my teachers used to press me about stuff.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
the same thing, right? Like draw, like, because that's like a universal like early school thing. Like draw your pet or like draw your
I don't
family.
have a pet. What do you mean
right?
you don't have a pet? You've
No,
never
yeah.
had one at all?
And
I'm like, I had a rabbit that died when I was like 4.
yeah, and these kids, right? Because they would ask questions before, right? So I would get my information from that, so I don't ask the same question. But like, what about fish? It's like, let's try to focus on like a cat or a dog, or like, do you have a bird? Or like one kid had a snake.
It's always just
so
make
they,
something up. Just make up a dog. Just draw a dog that you
Right?
would want. And I'm like,
and
so
I would,
why?
and either like, because Red technically wasn't ours; it was Abby's.
Yeah.
But we, for a good chunk, she lived with us because Abby was going through some stuff.
It could be like the family
Um,
dog.
Yeah. But like me as a kid, I was like thinking literal. I'm like, well, this isn't mine.
Yeah, because
right?
that's how thinking
Or
works.
I'd be
when you're
like, I have fish. Like we don't have a cat or even when we like before we had, I was like, we don't have a cat or dog. We just have fish.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if you heard me, if you were listening, I was like,
Yup.
what do you mean if I was
Yep.
listening?
If you were listening carefully instead of talking with your friends. I've never spoken to anybody during class time.
Right.
I've never spoken a word to these people.
Me
You put
who has
here as a
already been
freaking
moved,
buffer.
so I would stop, right? Even though I never did. But like everyone's talking, and then you're like, yeah, fuck it, I can talk too. And then they're like, you stop talking.
No, for me,
I'm
I
like, "You
was always
little
put
bitch."
as a buffer in between people
Oh my
that were
god.
constantly talking. And so, like, literally, and then one time one time I stood up for myself, right? This is first grade. And so I remember I'm sitting, and the seats were assigned by, like, last name, right? I was Pinnell. This kid's last name was Peterson,
Yeah.
right? I remember his breath smelled bad, and it really pissed me off. Hello, sensory issues, right? And it was those 2-person desks, so there's not really a divide. I
Yeah.
didn't see, like all of my most of my childhood was all two-person desks. The first time I had a singular person desk was in 5th grade out here. And it was the flip top and everything. Holy shit, it
Oh,
was so cool. So it was a two-person desk. And I don't even remember what happened really, but I think that I either told him to shut up or like I told him to move his seat away from me.
yeah.
And like I just remember that I did it because I was always put in between boys and they were always chit-chatting,
Yeah.
right? And that's fine. I don't really give a shit. I can tune them out. But then the teacher would like turn on me like it was my fault for not stopping it.
Yeah, like
And
they'd
I
always want
loved
you.
this
There'd be
teacher
like
up until
police
this
your fellow
point.
peers,
Yeah, why the
right?
fuck would I do that? It's not my responsibility.
And
You're
this
the
is
adult.
my love. I don't know if you ever experienced this because I went to very like poor schools, basically,
Yeah.
right? And the teachers would talk shit to you, like your friends and yourself would talk shit to each other. Like, for example, in middle school,
Yeah.
I was in a class where somehow, and I swear to God, it's because we had a white teacher, right? All the black people were on one third of the room. All the white people were in another third of, like in the desk columns, right? It was like black people in one third, white people in one third, Mexicans on
That
another
is
third. Like
horrible.
it just happened. Like like throughout the year, like people were like, why are we all right? I was like on the inside of it. So I was like right in the border, which worked out because, well, I had friends throughout everybody, right?
Yeah.
But my little clump, I had three like wannabe like gangbangers, right?
Ugh.
So it was like one black kid, two Mexican kids, and then there was like this other like little white boy that was like trying to get in with him, so he would like pipe up and like talk shit
Oh
to
my
like they would just
god.
talk shit
Yeah.
to each other. They were all just like talking shit, talking shit, talking shit. And so I was like sitting there, right? And it was like I don't I just oh my god, I would hate it so much because I would sit there and I'd be like, damn, I really wish I wasn't sitting next to these people because a big thing for me was like, oh, he's smart, but he likes talking with his friends, or he talks a lot,
For me it
or he
was
does
she's
this, and
smart, but
then
she doesn't try.
I'm like, why would I
You're
try?
so intelligent. Why
And
if you just put some
they
effort,
were
fuck you.
they were getting really disruptive one day, and the teacher, like, when a teacher snaps, like, I fucking had it, and they
Mhm.
scream, right? And they're like, you, right? They're like, Mister.
My biology teacher threw a stapler at this one girl.
Oh my god,
It was funny as fuck.
they're like Mr. F, right?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna give you all the last name. They're like Mr. F, right? My name's Felipe. Hey, first name's
Yeah,
Mr. F.
yes, my
And
dear.
they're sorry. My brain forces me to explain shit for
I
some reason. But anyway, they're like, why don't you police your fellow students? I'm like, well, that's not my job, Mister So and So, and
Yeah,
I
why
don't
the
really
fuck would I
care.
do that?
It's like, well, why don't you care? What are you afraid of them? You scared of these things? I'm like, what the fuck?
This
And
is a
then so
grown ass
little
man having
kids,
beef.
right? Like little tweens and teens, they're like, oh, you're scared of us, and they start talking shit. I'm like, bro, I will literally slap the fuck out of you, and then I will get someone else to beat up your younger siblings. Like, I don't give
Yeah.
a shit. Um, and so I had to deal with that for like it was like 2 weeks, and then it like died down, right? Because
Yeah.
like they get this little fucking thought in their head, and then like the white boy tried to like shove me one day, and so I shoved him back, but he was standing in front. It was the portable classrooms, and so I pushed him, right, and it kind of bent the wall, like the paneling, a little bit,
Oh, you're
and then so I
strong.
got a talking to.
I got into a
But then
couple
after that,
fights in school.
my seat moved. But on the topic,
No, I have something.
oh
There was this kid at my school that I went to elementary school with. His name was John, right? Ironic. So he and I were arguing about something, and like I think that he hit me, so I hit him back. But I remember there were these girls that were there. They're like, "Oh my god, are you okay? He just hit you." And I was like, "Yeah, that's why I kicked him."
no,
Like, cause no, okay, so he punched my arm, and so I kicked him as hard as I could in the nuts,
yeah,
right? Because we're like 8, right? We never had any disagreements before or after that. Just moved on, right?
yeah.
Which cool. So, but I remember everyone was like, all these girls were just like, "Oh my god, like, are you okay? That was so scary." And I was like, "No, it was okay. He wouldn't give me my ball back, right?" Like, and then there was that other kid in 5th grade. That
Oh, I have a story like this. So
okay.
in my English class in 7th grade,
Oh,
this one guy had a crush on this other, like they were both just flirting, right?
yeah.
She, no, this bitch, and I feel comfortable calling her a bitch. You'll see why. This bitch would always sit in my seat
Ugh.
to talk to him,
Ugh.
right? And I'd be like, yo, that's my seat. Could you get it up, please? Right? Because I was still like, well, you can't hit a girl at this, right? Because
Yeah.
it's 7th grade. Like, I can't hit a girl, right? I'm like, yo, it's my seat. Could you get up, please? Why can't you just go sit somewhere else? We have assigned seats.
Yeah,
That's my
what?
seat. The teacher's about to come in. can't, not trying to deal with that. Like, why don't you just sit on his desk, you know, or just stand next to him, or be like, bro, get up, give her your seat, and be like, nah, man. I'm like, what the fuck? The teacher walks in, Mr. F, take your seat. I'm like I would hate. I don't know why. Like all the teachers would always say Mister, and some of it was racially motivated because I noticed they'd only say that to black and brown
Oh yeah.
students. But it's like, you got to get in your seat. Just tell her to move, right? And I was like, yo, can you get up? She's like, why do you got to be such, like a little bitch about it? I'm like, the teacher literally just said for you to get up out of my seat,
Yeah.
like move. And this is, everyone was like, gay was an insult. You know what I mean? But she called me the F slur. She's like, whatever, you little, yeah. And I was like,
Hello.
and I literally looked at her. I was like, bitch, fuck you.
Yeah.
And she was like, when did you just call me? Right. And she hits me twice. Boom, bap. Right. I was like, what the fuck? Right. And I was like, get the fuck away from me. Right. And so she had her backpack on. I put my hand on her backpack and like mushed her away. I was like, get the fuck away from me. Right.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh my God. So she turns around. She hits me again twice. Like it's on the arm. Like boom, bap. Right. I'm like, what the? And like, I'm looking at the teacher and the teacher was like, well, you shouldn't have done that. Like, why did you push her? He's like, I should send you to the office for that. I was like, what the hell? Right. But luckily, there was a girl that had a crush on me in the class, and I found this out because she offered to beat her up for me.
Oh, I love romance.
And so she beat her up for me.
Oh my god.
And I was like, yeah.
Oh, get it, bitch. Oh my gosh. I whenever because it would always be
Poetic
popular
justice. Poetic justice.
because it was always popular kids, right? Especially in like my junior and senior years, they realized that I did not talk to people in class. I just kind of minded my own business, but I wasn't weird enough to bully, right?
Yeah.
So I was like kind of just like the neutral island third party, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they realized like, oh, like we can just like talk to her in class and that's fine, right? Whatever. So they'd always be like, oh, hey, like, do you mind if like I sit? Like they'd be like, hey, like, do you mind if I sit here today? Like you could take my seat. I don't think like this person's gonna notice. Like I just
Yeah.
want to talk. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. So they did. And every time I'd see the teacher look at me, and he just because it was always my freaking econ class, and he'd look at me, and I just I shrugged. Sorry, I'd literally just look at him and I just shrug, and then he would just
When
be
we
like,
make the jump to video, this will all
No, I
make so much more
I
sense.
know, and then because it was always because he just looked at me like, okay, because he understood.
But anyway, on the subject of that, this is a very story heavy thing. We're giving you all that premium
Giving y'all the
content, bro.
motherfucking
If this
hits.
ain't worth a like, follow, subscribe, 5-star review, I don't know what is because I got 2 bangers of myself, right?
I got another one after you.
All right. Well, it's about the time I took this kid's clout.
Oh,
I literally took his clout.
that ain't right.
No, so I think this was 8th grade.
Yeah.
It's either the end of 7th, beginning of 8th. You know what I mean? It's always towards the end of the year people try to get street cred, and in the beginning of the year people try to get street cred.
Oh, okay.
It's a random white kid. It's probably a Josh.
Josh.
I've known a lot.
Josh.
I've known a lot of Joshes throughout the years, right?
I've only known one.
There was a few that I ranked, right? Skater Josh was the coolest Josh that I knew,
Cool
right?
Josh, yeah.
But anyway, this guy was friends with Skater Josh.
Hey.
They were friends because they were both named Josh, but they
Yeah,
lived in different
yeah.
areas. Like school friends, right? This guy would make a lot of passively, not Skater Josh, other Josh. We'll call him Anti Josh, right? Anti Josh would always make really like micro racist remarks. I didn't even know what it was, but I was like, that seems racist for
That
some
smells
reason,
fishy.
right? And like, he was also very handsy. Like, when someone talks to you and they're like, right? They're all
Don't
like,
fucking touch
they're
me.
all like,
God.
they're like, yeah, you know what I mean, right? And they're like
I hate
touching
the
you, right?
constant elbow.
Um,
Yes.
But I noticed that this guy would always try to like grip or like
Ew.
dig his little bony fingers in. And I was like, bro, if you keep touching me, I'm gonna rip your piercing off, right? Because this whole thing was like, I've got a piercing,
Yeah.
right? I was like, I'm gonna rip your piercing off, right? And he's like, no, you won't. That's such a bitch thing to do. Blah 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 blah. I was like, well, stop touching me. He's like, well, what are you gonna do about it? I was like, I just told you. And then so like he pushed me, and as he pushed me, I like fucking shot my hand forward. I gripped his piercing.
Yep.
And I ripped.
Yup.
Here's the thing. It just happened. It's like I didn't think I'd get this far. And so I was like, oh, fuck, we're about to, because he was a little bit bigger than me. And so I was like, fuck, we're about to fight. But then he was like, dude, what the fuck? That really hurt. And I was like, oh, fuck. He's being a little bitch about it. So now I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, right? He's like, give it back. And I went to give it back. And I noticed this shit was magnetically clasped. He had a fake piercing.
Oh.
I was
Oh my
expecting
God,
like
you took his clout.
I
Holy
I was
shit.
expecting it to like bleed
Yeah.
or something. I was like, where's the blood at? I was like, from what? Because mom she never ripped piercings, right? But you take the piercing. There's some chicks that wouldn't do that. Hit them. little bit of blood, and
Yeah,
then
apparently a
stuff
couple of my
from
sisters have gotten into fights where they've ripped piercings.
yeah, like I'm not above ripping piercings. Dude. You're gonna talk that shit. Hey, that little fucking what is the one? The septum piercing that
Yeah.
makes you look like a fucking cow, where you can like knock the
The
thing
vodka.
right. I'm
Oh.
ripping that shit out, moo, bitch. But I was like, I looked at it and I was like, it's a fake. I literally said it's a fake, and then all our little group of friends was like, oh shit, whoa,
Oh, that's
oh.
fucking
He stopped
magnificent.
hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Anti Josh
How do
left.
you recover?
I was like, oh my God. But isn't that the epitome, whatever, of childhood? Humbling people, but then getting humbled yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. But last story. Because it was like you said, something in it triggered a memory. My mother is the reason that I'm really big into aquaculture.
Yeah.
Growing up, we always had a fish tank. We always had an aquarium of some time, and then that's now a personal interest of mine.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't have the
lovely.
money to pursue fish husbandry and aquaculture as much as I would like to, but that's something I'm currently working on because I do want to get like a self, or I do want to create and maintain a self-sustaining ecosystem,
Yeah.
and I think that would be really cool, and it'd be something for the background of the video podcast when we switch to that.
I
More
think
on
it'd
that
just be
later as
cool.
we move towards the end of this, right? Um, so mom and I, it was elementary school. I remember this is during the time we were living in Bakersfield,
You.
and I think it was on Washington Street. So this was probably Govia Gardens,
Okay.
this really crappy apartment complex. But anyway, I'm probably giving away a lot of shit, but it was like years
Yeah,
and
that's a
years
lot
ago.
of information.
Oh, that like literally, it was like early elementary school, like mid. I was probably like third, fourth grade. It was before I fucked up my knee. I know that.
Oh wow.
I was helping her do a water change on the fish tank,
Yeah.
right? And the fish tank itself was so imagine our TV. It was more rectangular, like it was a rectangular fish tank. The front was curved, right?
Yeah.
For you, my love, because you're here. Imagine if the TV was stood up,
Yeah.
like flipped.
Mhm.
That's how big the tank was.
That's a good
Um,
sized tank.
or maybe a little shorter, but you know what I mean? Just imagine a rectangle.
Yeah.
We were doing a water change, right? At the time, didn't have my growth spurt, and my mom is a short person,
Yeah.
right? And so I don't know why she didn't feel like getting a chair or whatever. So she's on her tiptoes, scooping the water out, right? And we have to get like the last bit of it, and we're like pouring water in now, like we're at the end part of the water change. And so we're pouring water in,
Yeah.
right? And somehow, right, we like her idea, was to move it forward so we could tilt it a bit,
Oh no.
like ever so slightly. Like
Even
if
Penny had something to
no,
say.
so like say this isn't how big the width of the base of the thing was.
Yeah,
Let's
of
say it's
course
a
not.
nice round number, like 10 inches,
Yeah.
right? If it was 10 inches long, we had 2 inches hanging off the side.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That should have been fine then.
No, because we didn't even tip it. She was like, I don't feel comfortable doing this. We'll just move it back afterwards. Tell me why the fucking cabinet we had, or not the cabinet, but like the
Whatever it was,
desk,
like
the
whatever it
whatever
was
that it
on.
was on, the front thing broke,
Oh
not in the middle. Like the
no.
back screws or
Yeah.
whatever came off, and so it went forward. And so mom was pouring the water, right? And she's like, she was telling me to do something, and I was gonna get something to put back in the tank. I heard it creak. I heard water splash, and mom is like literally like the water's like going like it seemed like more water than was in the
Oh
tank
my
went over
god.
her.
Yeah.
Like she was like, oh, fuck, right? And like the tank started going forward. All of my little kid might, I literally spun around and it looked like I was like an O lineman for the NFL
Oh.
team. And I pushed and I caught this thing. This thing is filled with water.
Yeah.
It's filled with fish. The fish are swimming around, freaking out. Mom's like, Philip, get it. Get it. Oh my God. Right? Because she's like, fucking
She
water's
can't
all in her face.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bitch is blind right now.
Ironically, she didn't drop the gallon bucket that she had because it was like halfway done. And when it happened, she
Big
shot
up.
her hand out,
Big
right?
up.
We're a family that doesn't spill our drinks if we fall. So,
It is.
but
Can I have the same clout for not flinching when I had my seizure?
no. But anyway, like I'm holding this thing there. I felt like Atlas holding up the world because I was like,
Sisyphus type beat.
no, but it was getting heavy. I was like, mom, help me, right? I was like, ah. And so we both push it back up. She was like, oh my God, I almost died. Not she wouldn't have died, right? Like, but like she's calling everybody up and telling everybody, and she's like, don't tell. She's like, don't tell your father, my stepfather. She's like, don't tell him, right? We're gonna clean this mess up. So we get like towels and we're trying to dry the floor. Never happened. She eventually told him. But oh my God, that shit was that was one of my more crazy memories with mom. Like literally, I just remember like I like slammed the fuck out of this fish tank. It was like hut, right?
Yeah.
None of the fish got out because we were looking. We were like looking under the couches and the table. We're like, oh, none of these fish are gonna die. But they're straight. They were solid. They went back to swimming around after that craziness. You know,
That's really cool though. You saved the fishies.
I saved the fishies, saved my mom's face, right? Because even we're very thick-headed people, right? Because I went through a TV when I was a kid. I don't think I could have said the same for my mother going up against aquarium glass. No,
Ah,
because it would have hit her in the face. Like literally, it was gonna like
it
if
wouldn't
she
have
fell,
shattered.
if she fell, yeah, no, if she fell to the floor, it would have just smacked onto her, water and all. Then the water and the fish would have went over her.
Yeah,
That would have that would have
it would
sucked.
have been a very shitty bonk.
You know, there was another time when we were moving and it was like within the city. And so we got all the fish and we put them in a big like punch bowl. And we were just driving very smoothly. And, you know, they all went near the bottom because that's where the water's less turbulent. But one fell out and I caught it and I put it back in. And then as they were falling out, as we would break, I would pick them up off the U-Haul floor and put them back in the water. And we made it happen, bro.
You did that shit.
We made that shit happen.
Period.
But you have a story to send us off on, my love.
I do have a story.
Is it one that
So-
you can say into the microphone,
That-
please? Hey, I got the audio monitoring on. You can't hide from me now. You and your beauty. So beautiful. I love you.
Okay. I'll say the story. Okay, so
Into the microphone?
nope.
Come here. You've gotten further away.
Because
as
I'm
this happened.
stretching. Because it's uncomfortable to be leaning. Because you set up the microphone
Then
so it's
don't
at your
lean.
shoulder.
Move your hips this way and sit.
How would I?
No, like sit normally. There you go.
Then I'm over here.
Yeah, but you can still talk into the microphone. I don't mean get closer. I mean direct your mouth so that it hits the.
I'm gonna throw up on it.
Cool. As long as you talk into it.
I hate. I was gonna tell a story about how. So picture this,
You're
right?
still not talking into the microphone.
I'm
babe.
gonna
Please.
beat you to death.
For the I
with
beg
my
of you.
fucking
I'm
braids.
leaving this in God. Please, Lord in heaven, bless
No,
you.
it is supernatural for me to talk whilst turning my head at an angle. This is super comfortable and normal for me. So,
Act
well,
like I'm talking
I-
to you. Act like you're talking to me, but just split the difference.
that doesn't work in my head.
You're doing that right now.
I know. I'm violently uncomfortable. So picture this, right?
Yes.
It's I think exactly 10 days out from your wedding anniversary with your sweet, gorgeous husband whom you adore, right?
I thought you were talking about someone else completely different.
No. So you're like, you know what? I'm gonna start working on something like a little present, right? Because we can't really we agreed not to do presents this time, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So I was gonna break that rule anyway, and I was gonna make you something, right?
Mm.
And I was going to embroider my initials on the sleeve of our matching Valentine's Day shirts.
Ooh, that's cool.
And you know what happened instead?
What happened?
I spent 20 minutes trying to thread a needle and gave up.
You know what? That would happen to me as well.
Yeah,
I
I-
appreciate and love you even more for
There's
the
the
attempt.
sentiment.
There we go.
There you go.
It's the sentiment.
That's all
It's
I
the
got.
thought that
I
counts.
made cookies.
Hey, no,
I
those cookies
made
were delicious.
cookies.
I'm looking forward to tearing up those cookies after we're done here. But you
I
know
made
what?
cookies.
Just because I've been thinking about this story and my mom has started listening to the podcast more, like my brother made her a TikTok. She's following us on TikTok.
Oh my god, hi.
I got to come clean about something.
Oh lord.
If there's one thing on this podcast, we have accountability of each other.
She's gonna call you.
She probably will. My mother and my stepfather have had countless fights over the years.
It'd be like that.
Countless fights over the years. About stupid shit, about important shit, about dumb shit, about smart shit.
Yeah, one of my favorite argument topics for my parents was about whether there should be hot dogs and hamburgers or just one or the other at the Labor Day barbecue.
You know, we've probably had a similar argument. But anyway, not
always
us, but I mean,
It's always fun listening and just being like, "Are you really fucking doing
Yeah.
it at midnight?"
dude,
on a
my friend, they
school
would
night?
argue so much. My friend, like they've said, they remember hearing some of the arguments in the
No,
background
it
from
feels
the
like
headset.
when you have to mute your mic and you're just like, and they're like, "Hey, where'd you go?" Hold on,
Yeah.
you can't say out loud, "Hold on, guys, my parents are arguing real quick."
I don't know, but they all knew my parents, so they knew what was going on. But
My-
anyway, there was one time where I knew, and this is like right after they had a major fight, to where like he had left and then come back. So I was like, you know what?
Ooh, yeah.
He can afford to take one more L. I watched porn on the family computer. This is when we had the computer in the garage, right? This is the
What?
time we had the garage. I watched porn on the family computer
In the garage.
in the garage I didn't do nothing. I was just like,
in front of God and everybody.
this was like when I was like explore, because before it was just on your phone, right? But I still had like a keyboard phone, so like everything was shitty,
Should I confess
right?
my?
No, but like, so I had watched it on the family computer on a guest profile though, right? The
Okay.
guest profile. So I was like, oh, I'm clear, and then clear the history.
Yeah.
Notice that important step, clearing the history. I forgot to apparently.
Oh.
Mom was doing something on the computer, and so she sees porn, right? Like literal, like the title of the video, what I searched up because I got it from one of my boys at school. He
Porn.
told me about that. I was like, that sounds pretty, huh? What's the name of that person? Cool, right? Um, and so there's really only two people that she suspected: myself and my stepfather. He's at work. She calls me up first, right?
Oh.
What the fuck are you looking at the computer? Blah 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 blah. This and
I
that.
don't know if screaming's appropriate.
Oh, she was screaming, right? And I was like, Mom, what are you talking about? I was like, I don't do that. I was like, when I do, it's on my phone. She's like, oh, so you do? I was like, well,
I'm a developing
I'm like,
young
you're, no,
man.
I'm like, you're already accusing me of it. I'm like, why would I lie? Right?
I loved saying that when I was lying.
I was like, why
I
would I lie
loved.
about this?
Oh my god, I
And I made it,
loved using that.
I made it more dramatic. I was like, why the hell would I lie? She was like, don't fuck. I was like, well, I was like, why would I watch it on the family computer when Isaac or Brooklyn could
I
get
would
onto it?
love
And then I
gaslighting.
was like,
Yes.
why would I was like, and then I was like, why would I forget to clear the history? Because I was a fucking idiot.
Right.
She believed me
Yeah.
right at that moment
Yes.
because she was grilling me for so long. Danny came
Oh.
home and she was like, like she would say his whole government name, or she wouldn't say Danny, she'd say Daniel
Oh.
because his name is actually Danny.
I was gonna say Daniford.
No, like I always thought his name was. I was like, is his name Daniel? She was like, no, it's Danny. Then when I saw his license, it's Danny.
Huh.
But yeah, Daniel. He was like, what? I just got home.
He
What the?
literally just walked in
And then the other side, I was
door.
like, what the fuck do you want, Angela? Blah, 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 this and that. She's like, you're watching this on the computer and then the blah, blah, blah. It was a black chick that I looked at. It was a Lacey Duval video. I think that
I don't
was
know who
her.
that is.
That was
That's
it.
a cute name. Lacey's a cute name.
It was like, it's like 2000s porn, right?
Yeah.
Big old titties on this chick anyway.
Honkers.
Oh my God, your cousin's listening to this. I just remembered.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't
a
care.
child.
I'm leaving this in. Anyway, so they start arguing, and I was like, oh my God, right? And then she's like, at least remember to clear the fucking history.
It'd be that simple.
It happens. We gotta gaslight our parents. Well, that's the only
No,
time
I would love hitting everybody. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
Why would I do that? Because I was
And this is when I
obviously
started.
such a level-headed,
Yeah.
reasonable, intelligent child, so
I never
I
forgot
could
to.
use it.
I never forgot to clear history again.
See, here's my awful thing, right? Or I need to ask you. Hold on, timeout, right?
Okay. Yeah. Wait. Time out. As in, you want me to edit this out? Or
Yeah, yeah.
no,
No. As in,
no,
like,
no. Because I don't want to do more editing.
well, I'm just asking you if this is appropriate. How I watched my first video, is that an appropriate story to tell? Do you
Yeah.
think?
Fuck it. I already.
So, and you all can clown me for this. It's appropriate. So I'm 13. I'm realizing, hey, girls are pretty cool too, right? It's a gradual
Yeah.
realization. And then I realized, oh, I don't have like an iPod. I only have my flip phone, but I have an Internet Explorer tab in my Xbox 360.
Oh.
And my TV, my little 32-inch TV, wall mounted in the corner, right? Because I have a loft bed.
Yeah.
So the door's right here. The TV's right there, right?
Close the door a little bit.
I did. So I closed my door, which is already weird because I never closed my door because I wasn't allowed to close my door, right? Close my door, and I'm on Internet Explorer, and that's how I watched my first ever porn video, was on my Xbox internet browser.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, I think mine was on my PSP.
And you know what my thoughts coming away from it were? What was the point of that?
Yeah.
I was like, this is what everyone's talking about?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? I remember it was on X Hamster.
X Hamster. Well, they have there's a lot of scandals with them, so don't go
their
there anymore.
website is
It's terrible.
harrowing.
Bro, literally, like my
Harrowing.
first time, like I was like, because I got this
It's the first
PSP
one
like
that pops
secondhand.
up
I
when you
got it
type
at the swap
porn.
meet and it still worked, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, how would I was like, porn.com, let's see if it works. And it worked. That porn.com is a thing.
Yep.
And so I was like, oh my God, right? But like internet was like really shitty
Yeah.
back in the day. So it was mostly just like pictures, right?
Yeah.
So I'd like look at the pictures, or this is when GIFs started popping up and stuff like that. But I think the most down bad I ever was, right, is that I borrowed my this is when I was in the military, right?
Yeah.
And I had always heard about 3D porn, right?
Yeah.
Because VR headsets and all that, and just 3D porn in general. You get glasses like when the 3D TVs and everything were coming out, right? And I was like, I've always wondered what that is. Or was like, yo, bro, like, I have a 3DS.
Oh.
He was like, I can just show you. And so he showed me, right? And like, I was like, what is the point of that, right?
Yeah.
Like I can understand if it was in like VR or something, but like, apparently, which then led me down a rabbit hole on Google, a lot of people and a big percentage of just from Pornhub, right? Their thing of looking at it is from 3DSs. I don't know how you can tell that, but a lot of people with 3DSs use that for 3D
You
porn.
know what?
Hey, ingenuity. You got to get it where you can get it. But with that being
Oh my
said,
god, no, I just remembered something terrible. My cousin Tristan gave me his old
why
iPod
would you
Touch.
say his name?
No, he gave me his iPod Touch, right?
Yeah.
I had access to the internet. I only had it for like
Ooh.
2 weeks because I didn't have it. Like I didn't have a charger,
Yeah.
right? Like I would turn it off at night or like every hour. Like I'd let
Yeah.
myself have it. I'd turn it off, right? I only had it for a little bit. That's how I got into Epic Rap Battles of History.
Oh my God.
And it was still when it was the old iPod, like the TV box YouTube app. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's where that it didn't have a camera,
Pocket Frogs
right?
was the
But
shit.
I loved that bitch, right?
Yeah.
I loved that little thing. And that is how I discovered the wonderful world of fanfic.
Oh,
And my
Jesus.
first ever fanfic was a Nico D'Angelo one. Great. And here's the kicker. I didn't realize this until I had my own iPod years later.
Yeah.
I was still connected to his iCloud.
Ooh.
And I was not
Clear in the history.
nope.
You
I
know,
took a screenshot of my favorite part of the fanfic.
I had a similar run in because I skipped fanfic and just went straight to smut, right? Because I was like, I don't want to watch it all
No,
the
no,
time.
but that's not
I
smut.
was
It's
like,
lemons.
no,
It's lemons. That's what it was.
I'd like to simply read this, right? And there was like apps on Google Play where you can write like just smut, right?
Interesting.
And so I'd get these apps or like, you Google and you find like, sites where people like write these stories. Was mostly on like AO3 and stuff like that, but it's like actual just erotica, not any type of fandom or anything. It's just they wrote a
Literotica.
pornographic story. Literotica, yeah. And I still like that. Honestly, I'm not it's going to be me that has the smut by the night table when we're in like our 50s,
I
right?
feel like AO3
But
is so much better though
like
because the filters.
I don't know, but like that was pretty cool. There was some like intense shit in there. I was like, oh my God, I didn't even think
I
that
read
was
one
the
harrowing tale about a pirate ship.
yeah, but I was like, I didn't even know like
I thought it was a story about
that
pirates.
these were like fetishes or kinks, and it was a really easy and beneficial way to figure out what you were into and what you liked and what you didn't like, what you would never be into, what you would never consider.
You
You
know
know
what
what
the
I mean?
worst part was?
But I had a story with this, and I don't know where to
It's okay. I
go
can make a joke. You
with
ready?
it. Yeah,
My favorite thing is right. You're reading and you're like, okay, this is okay, right? This doesn't even have to be like smut or anything. You
yeah.
just be like, you're reading a fic, and then they mention anything related to scat,
Oh God,
instantly gone.
no.
I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Right? I had to Google it because I didn't understand. I was like, there's no way they could possibly mean.
Yeah, no, it
There's
was.
no way, and it is
I was reading
sickos.
I was reading kind of a more hardcore story.
Yeah.
And it was like in the heat of the moment, she wanted the dude to shit on her chest. I
Nope.
clicked it. I took a 2-year break.
Yeah.
I literally 2 years until I read
Yeah.
another smut story.
No, it's
Oh my
traumatizing.
God, dude.
There needs to be trigger warnings.
It was I
jump
was like,
scare
no, that's
labels,
enough for me. I think that's around the time I picked up Dojins.
or vomiting.
Yeah, no, not vomiting.
I'm
No.
like, get the fuck away from me.
Like I like call it the ego, dude, right? Like if you're getting a blowjob and the chick vomits because she deep throats you too much, that's different. We're gonna clean up. I'm not like, yeah, that's hot, but you're just like, yeah, my
The
dick
shame.
did that, right? But like people that are like, I want you to vomit, like, no,
No.
you disgusting fuck. Did your parents not love you enough? Like, they say like all kinks or whatever developed in like childhood or whatever.
Yeah.
What did your parents do to you that you want someone to throw up their breakfast Fruit Loops so you can get off on it?
Their goddamn Fruit Loops.
Oh my God. But you know what? With that being said, we're going to have a hell of a time writing a description for this episode.
Please put
Again,
a warning for my aunt.
if you guys have made it this far, we appreciate you guys. We love all the positive support we're getting on the show. We love all the support we're getting for the show in general, financial or otherwise, man.
Yes.
Shout out to them, right? Once again, as another video update, we're exploring different setups that we might go through. We might do it on the couch, like how we record now, or we might doing facing the other way because we have a lot of stuff on our wall. I don't really want a blank background. We might also do it in our dining room and have like little decorations on the table to set up the thing. I'm also still exploring my options for a cheap green screen, but I have to learn how to do the VFX for that as
Yeah.
well, which is not hard. I think I have some programs in the editing software I use right now that can help with that, or I could just ask our friend who's an actual editor.
Mm.
Um,
You're rambling.
so we're focusing on that.
I'm
It's going
so
to be
kidding. I love you.
updated channel art when we do this in October. It's going to be mid-October when we do make the jump to video. So
I'm
it is coming
terrified.
up.
I am so fucking scared.
But with that being said, well, we're going to do a mock episode too, which could be like a little bonus
I'm
one that we
so
post. But anyway,
scared.
we are about to hit our songs of the week. So my love, what is your song of the week for today, August 31st? Just tell me.
It's my song of the week is Planet of the Bass featuring DJ Crazy
I
Times
fucking hate
and
you.
Miss Electronica. No, you don't understand. This song is so good.
It's a parody.
It's a parody of every Eastern European EDM song, right? That's the genre.
I think Neil would unironically like it.
He would because it's a good song. Akil and I were bumping it. Listen, okay,
Akil listens to anything.
yeah, because
He truly does.
yeah.
That sounds like an insult. Now he
No,
truly does.
That's just an observation.
He puts me onto some stuff, bro. He made me rediscover my love for Thundercat, and I was like, hell yeah.
Oh
But
yeah,
on my end of the spectrum, right, I very much break up the seasons into neat little 3-month blocks, right?
yeah.
So fucking March, April, May is spring. June, July, August is summer, right? September, October, November is fall. December, January, February is winter.
Yeah.
Today's August 31st. We're putting the video out today, right? And to me, it's the last day of summer. And like I said, we'd go into it a little bit more. I'm trying to get better about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I have been thinking about the type of vibes I would want this summer to be remembered as, because it was very work heavy. We did go to the beach, not as much as we wanted to, but we did end up going. We had fun when your family came here.
It was
It
a
was my
blast,
grandmother's
yeah.
birthday. And it's had its share of challenges, but it's been a very fun summer. I've enjoyed our time together, as I do every day together with you, my love.
Aw.
A little on mic kiss. We haven't done that in a while. So I decided, it is kind of an older song, but it's Feels Like Summer from Childish Gambino off the 2018 Summer Pack. It's a little,
Is
it's
this the
two
one that's been on
singles.
TikTok?
I don't know. It's it's two singles. Obviously it's called Summer Pack. I just said that. But when I first heard this song, it very much was how I picture my own vibes during summer. Like Ryan was even like, "This is a very you song, Flip." When I
Aw.
showed it to him, yeah. He's like, "This sounds like a song you'd like," because he's not a big Childish Gambino guy.
Yeah, well.
But yeah, no, that's pretty much it. We will see you guys next time.
Bye.